What is required in order to have a tasty, well-cooked food? Of course, you require the items, like if it's vegetables or if it's non-veg products, you will require accordingly. But then to make that tasty, you need to add ingredients in the right proportion. Sometimes the same ingredients can go out of proportion, which leads to taste like salty or too much sour, very sweet, very spicy, and sometimes your food actually does taste bland, which is like no idea why it is happening. There are different things that can happen whilst cooking. Today we are going to equalize these tastes that get out of proportion by simply learning the chemical concept of food. I'm kidding. So let me show you how to neutralize the taste, or how to overcome the taste which has got out of proportion. So let's start with the first kind of taste, that is sour. When the food that you cooked turns out to be too sour, what you can do is, depending on what kind of food it is, if it is a gravy or if it's a tart, or maybe it could be puffs, maybe something else that you have made. There are different types of food that could turn sour. So depending on that, what you can do is, if it's gravy, you can add little of baking soda, which will help to reduce the sourness of the food. At the same time, sugar can actually normalize the sour taste of food. It works vice versa also. But for the moment, since we are talking of sour, sugar, honey, jaggery, these all items can be added to reduce the sour taste of the food that you have cooked. You all can even add thick cream. This also helps. Or if it is a puff, like for starters, instead you all have these few finger foods that you all give for your kids, so that they can just enjoy, just a kind of snack you give them, and that happens to turn sour. What you all can do is, you all can grate a little of cheese and put it on top, and this will help reduce the sour taste in the food. So in order to reduce the sour taste in food, what you can do is, if it's gravies, you can add baking soda. Also, the other option is, you can add something sweet, that is like sugar, jaggery, or honey. Then the next option is, you all can add thick cream, that will help reduce the sourness. And the last option is, you all can add grated cheese. Now, if your food is too bitter, some foods are originally bitter, like bitter gourd, karela, which is bitter by nature. So for all bitter taste, in order to reduce it, the option is, in case if it is gravies or vegetables, y'all can add sweetness, like y'all can add jaggery. This will not only reduce the taste, but in certain conditions also take away the bitter taste completely. Y'all can even add ghee, butter. This also helps to reduce the bitter taste. And yes, y'all can add cream. But cream can be added to gravies. To bitter gourd, I'm not sure if it would actually taste good with cream. Now another taste, spicy. If the food that you cooked is way too spicy, you will end up filling yourself only by drinking water. The food might be very tasty, but it is way too spicy. You cannot eat it. So in order to reduce the spicy taste in food, you can add something sour. You can add more tomatoes. You can squeeze a lime. Add little vinegar. This will help to reduce the spicy taste in food. Also, adding yogurt or thick cream helps to reduce the spicy nature of the food. Sugar is a good option to reduce the spiciness, but it will not work in case if it is extremely spicy. So if it is little spicy, sugar might help adjust the taste. Caramelized onions, fried onions, are very good also to reduce the spicy taste that you get in foods. The next kind of taste which will actually spoil your appetite is salty. Salt too less also is a problem. Salt too much is a very big problem. So in order to neutralize the taste of salt, what you can do is, you can make dough balls. If you have all-purpose flour, maida flour, wheat flour, or the ones which you get to make chapatis, if you have that, just knead it into a ball shape. without adding anything, just plain flour and water, and knead it to form a ball shape. Depending on how much excess is the salt in the food, you all will need maybe 1, 2 or 3 kneaded ball, and add this to the gravy which is being boiled. Leave it there for some time, let it boil along with this dough ball, and once you find this dough ball is cooked, just remove it out of the gravy, and you'll see that the salt taste in the gravy has reduced to a good amount. The other option would be to add tamarind or lemon. This also helps to reduce the salty taste in food. If y'all have wine at home, y'all can even add wine to the gravies that is tasting salty. This also does help to a little extent. Potatoes. Raw potatoes, when you add them to gravies that are very salty, it helps pull the excess salt into them. Then depending on that, if the potatoes are tasting okay, y'all can leave them in the gravy. If not, y'all can just remove them. Mutton curries, beef curries, chicken curries, these all gravies, when you find that the salt is too much, what you can do is you can add raw papaya. Raw cut papaya added to these gravies will help pull the excess of salt, and then your food will taste good with the reduced amount of salt. After salty comes sweet. Dessert I made today tastes very sweet. What do? Simple. Add a few drops of lemon, or if the dessert is runny, you can even add a little vinegar. If not, y'all can even add little salt, and you will see that the sweetness has come down. Most of the time, even when we cook food, when you add sugar and salt together, you will notice that the taste is equalized. That's because whenever salt is added to a sweet tasting item, it always reduces the sweetness of the food. Final taste, that is bland. When your food tastes as if it's a hospital food, I know some hospitals do serve very good food, but at the same time, if the patient's condition is not that good, the food served to them is very bland. So in such cases, if the food that you cook tastes very bland, what is the first thing you will do is you will add salt. Adding salt will make the taste better. Once you feel the taste is better, you feel the salt amount is right, then you will understand what has gone low. Maybe the spiciness is very less, that's why it's tasting bland. Maybe it needs to be a little sour, that's why. Or maybe for all you know, a little bit of bitter taste will enhance the food. So try these, but see that you go in small amounts, because way too large amounts could actually spoil the taste of the bland food as well. That was a hack on how y'all can balance the different kind of taste when it falls in higher quantities into the food that you have cooked. Cooking is an art. Likewise, in art, how the paints mix together to form a beautiful art piece. In the same way, tastes mixed together in the right proportion makes a very delicious meal. So hope you all have liked today's episode. Please do leave in your comments, and if you all have any suggestions or requests, also make it a point to let me know in the comment section, or do feel free to even send us an email. For all those who are new visitors to my channel, it's a sincere request from the bottom of my heart to please click on the subscribe button and the bell notification icon to get updates on all my upcoming videos. That's all on today's episode. I'll see you next time on How Hacks.